hard, Spoo. But yeah, so this was in the midst of the testing of true prophets, right? So how do you know a prophet from, I would say, a psychic? And I literally had this idea last night. Me personally, okay. So this is Latara speaking. I believe that we are all psychic. And so psychic literally just means that we have the ability to intuitively perceive, and we do, because we all have intuition, right? Every last one of us was made with a sacral chakra, which senses, okay, which is literally what the intuition is, which senses by way of emotion, threat, right? It senses threat. It senses other things as well, right? It senses lust. It senses fear. It senses emotion. Any form of emotion, your intuition senses it, feels it. So that's the reason why we can kind of vet out our environment. That's why we can know what's in our environment. If we literally take the time to read the room, you can read a room by way of your intuition, okay? What you're feeling 9 times out of 10 is valid. The point of, say, discernment that comes into play with intuition is that because you're able to feel the things that are in your environment, not everything that you're feeling is yours. And that's where we get confused about what we're feeling. That's when we get confused about our navigating system, which is the intuition. So your intuition is literally a compass. It's your internal GPS. It's meant to lead you in the way that you should go, right? But if you are immersed by feeling and the emotions without discerning what is yours, you may navigate to someone else, navigate in someone else's identity and in someone else's emotion. So it's really important to understand what's yours and what's not. And that's when we get off the compass or of our own intuition and we start enmeshing with those around us, okay? Which is why I speak a lot about boundaries, which is why I speak a lot about having walls and definition and character, because you have to discern what's you. You have to know what's you. You have to know what you feel. You have to know how you feel. You have to know your own energy. Okay? So, and that until I just completely turn it off. Okay, so I'm back. If you don't tap into your own energy and learn to hone in on your own energy, then you'll operate in the energy of others, okay? And this is a great way for you to become, quote unquote, a soothsayer, which is a people pleaser, or rather a yes man, because what you're feeling, you think it's yours, but in actuality it's someone else's. So it's easier to give into someone else's emotion if you think it's your own, because for you think that you're pleasing yourself. Okay, that's how confused the energy is at that point. Okay, you don't know what's yours and what's not. So this was yesterday, actually. Yeah, check my stories out. I came across a panel where Juanita Bynum, I'm not sure who the lady was because I still didn't go and check out the video. But Juanita Bynum was having this conference and they were speaking, her and this lady's mindset, oh my God, just blew me away. And I was sitting outside screaming like, Lord God, these kind of conversations, you understand? Because for one, she was speaking about authority. She was speaking about in authority and high ranking as far as in the spiritual world. She was speaking about our ability to call out demons. She was also speaking to how say witches astral project, right, through spirit in the spirit world, and how to cast that kind of energy, like how to boundary that energy, how to cast that out, how to protect yourself from it. She was speaking to consciousness. Y'all know that's my name, man. Y'all, that's my name, man. That's my name. That's my language, right? So she was speaking to consciousness. She was speaking to systems and order and ranking in the spirit realm. And so in Ground Up, I literally speak about all those things in the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is feminine energy, okay? It's the start of divine feminine energy. She sits in our womb, and it's the first matrix that we ourselves can ever experience outside of the womb we were born in, okay? So it's your own matrix, and this is where we create new worlds. This is where we create depth, and we learn our first glimpse of intuition and also intimacy. Okay, it's our sex. It's within the region of our sexual glands, right? And so a lot of us take the emotion that we feel, and without vetting it, without filtering it, without really sitting with it, we find ways to escape it. And we do that in several ways, and I've spoken about this before. We do that in several ways. It can be through addictions. Things can turn into addictions. Things can be distractions. Some of us do that with food. Others of us do that with sex, relationships, travel. Okay, I made the mention in the book where we have that commercial where it's like, want to get away, right? Book a trip, right? Want to get away, eat chocolate. So I would say that marketing and advertising know how to tap into our emotions, because they understand that we are also emotional buyers when we have not yet built boundaries and self-discipline and self-control to honor our own emotions instead of outsourcing them and expecting something outside of us to fulfill us, right? Which is literally what we're doing when we're escaping. We're expecting something outside of us to fulfill the void that we feel within, okay? And which is, again, the emotion, which is another reason why we should sit with it. We should honor it. We should dive into it, see what the root of it is. And I say that in all honesty, knowing that there's also a part of us that can see the emotion and doesn't have to identify with it. So just because you're sitting with the emotion doesn't mean that you're identifying with it. The minute that you identify with the emotion, you attach to it. You attach to it and you claim it, you make it yours, right? And that's what we don't want to do. Emotions is just energy in motion. It's meant to flow. It's meant to, listen to me when I say this. Emotion is like a woman that doesn't want to be kept. Okay, that's literally what emotion is. It's a woman that does not want to be kept. Okay, and so a lot of times we think we should keep the emotion, and like that's when we identify with it. We say, I am this, rather than I am feeling this. So that's a great way to identify what you're feeling and not identify with it, or rather to observe what you are feeling rather than to absorb what you are feeling. So two concepts: observe, meaning to witness, to view, and absorb, meaning to take on, to pretty much let it hug you, okay, let it seep into you, right? And so we don't want to become the emotion. We just want to view it. We just want to see it. So I always think of your emotions as women that don't want to be kept, okay? She just want to be seen. She don't want to be kept, okay? That is your emotion. And so this goes back to the whole prophet versus prophecy, because or not prophet versus prophecy, rather prophet versus, say, psychic, because the psychic industry is built upon soothsayers. It's people who tell you what they know you want to hear, and they know you want to hear that because they are enmeshed. They can feel what you're feeling. The difference is between a psychic and a prophet, and I'm using I say prophet, but prophet, right, is one tells you the truth and one lies. So the psychic would be, in this case, the liar, because it's the soothsayer, it's the yes man, it's the, everything's going to be okay. They feed into your emotion to make you feel comfortable. And the reason is because they're getting money from you, okay? It's because they want your dollar, all right? So they'll say whatever they feel they need to say to get the money, okay? So that's a soothsayer. And in the Bible, Hananiah was that soothsayer. Again, in one of the ways that we tap into this is just being enmeshed with the people around us, being able to feel their feelings and wanting to, say, coddle them, opposed to keeping them accountable. And so the prophet is that accountable force. That prophet is going to tell you no. That prophet is going to tell you what's right and what's wrong. And you can't pay a prophet. A prophet is not for hire. All right. Just like a priest shouldn't be for hire. Right. So you can't pay for a prophet. And I mentioned this last week as well, or it was in one of my tweets or something to that extent. Just scroll my page, you'll find it. There was a reason why in the Bible prophets wouldn't take gifts from the people that they healed. And that was to reinforce that they couldn't be bought. Okay. When Jehoshaphat, which was a king, right? Which was a king. When he established judges within Jerusalem, he made sure to tell them, you can't take gifts. Okay, you can't take gifts because those are bribes. If you are in someone's pocket, then they own you. And so they're paying for your acceptance at that point, right? And so because you're receiving payment for that acceptance, you're going to give it. Where if there is no monetary gain there, then you're not making decisions off of what they can do for you. Okay, there's no conflict of interest. The minute that there's money involved, there's a conflict of interest. When Kanye West says, take the money, take the green out of the conversation, I felt that. Because when we fall into the trap of, well, this will make me money, or this is how I can get money, we become greedy. We don't see justice. Okay, we don't execute justice, which is what a prophet does, which is what a judge does. They execute justice, right? And so that's the difference between, say, a soothsayer or a psychic and a prophet. Like I said, the prophet is going to tell you the truth. They are there to execute justice. The psychic is there to self-seek and for self-gain. They will accept your gifts. They will and lie to you, all in the name of what they're receiving from you. Okay, so in this portion of the Bible where Jeremiah is telling Hananiah, like, first of all, you'll know, because it goes on to say this, you'll know who is the true prophet here, because the word will come to pass. Right? The word will come to pass. That is one of the ways, right? When you go to church, when you hear the sermon from the pastor and you're listening and you're like, oh my God, how does he know this? Well, right. When you go out into the week and you start experiencing some of those things and you're like, my pastor was talking about this last week. Well,